Hello, readers. So today I have a book that I'm going to book talk. It's a book that I read last week, and this is once again a historical fiction book. But this book is very interesting because it's actually written as a response to a current book series or a book series that many of us may know about, though it was written a long time ago. And that series is the Little House on the Prairie series. So most of us have, if we haven't read it, we've at least heard of it. And the author of the book that I'm going to tell you about today found that the Little House series really only tells one side of the story. We hear the story from Laura's side, Laura's family, and she felt like there were more stories to be told in that situation, in that history that we have. So she wrote this book. This book is Prairie Lotus. This is written by Linda Sue Park. Linda Sue Park is a Newbery winning author. She is a wonderful, wonderful author. And Prairie Lotus is about a girl named Hannah who moves from California, from where there were a lot of Chinese immigrants that came to to participate in the gold rush that was going on at that time. And Hannah finds herself in South Dakota in this book. She and her father have traveled from California, and the problem for her is that she is very different from everybody around her. So she is a Chinese, or her mother was a Chinese American, and so her father is white, and so she is half Chinese. And she finds herself in the middle of South Dakota. And at that time, there were not other Chinese people there. She was the only one who looked like her. And so it's her experience finding her place kind of on the prairie, very similar to what Laura Ingalls Wilder experienced, except from a very different perspective. So she understands, Hannah understands what it's like to not fit in and what it's like for people to kind of judge you based on the color of your skin and the way that you look. And she also interacts with some Native Americans in the book, which is a really interesting dialogue that she has. And she learns a lot from them. This was really interesting for me because last year I actually traveled to South Dakota and I learned a lot about the Lakota and the Dakota Native Americans that lived there and their history and what that looked like in the United States when they lost their land. So this was a very interesting book for me because I had learned a little bit about those tribes, and then we see Hannah get to interact with them. So it's a wonderful story. It's an uplifting story, and at the same time, it can be really hard at times, but it's a very important story. It's a new look at our history in the United States, and a new perspective on something that a lot of us kind of took for granted. So I really encourage you to read this book. There are rumors that it is the first book in a series, so I can hope for that because I would love to read a lot more about Hannah and her experiences. So I hope you enjoy Prairie Lotus. Happy reading.